We have to know who God is, understand who God is, in order to have the right perspective of Him. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that God has a personality. God is relational. He wants relationship with us. He doesn't want just drive-by relationship. You know, if you're in a relationship with a person, you want that person to be in regular communication with you, in regular contact with you. You want to spend time with that person. You want to hang out. Well, God is the same way. God is relational. He wants to be in contact with us every day. Just like if you were in a relationship, you wouldn't want days to go by where you're not in contact with that person. Well, God has a personality. That not only does He have a personality, but He also has feelings. It is possible for God's feelings to be hurt. It is us to grieve His heart. For us to make Him feel bad. It's also possible for us to make Him happy. For us to please Him. So when you put all this together, God is relational, God has feelings, God has a personality. Well, God has expectations of our relationship with Him. God expects to spend regular time with us. God expects to be able to speak to us. He expects to talk to us on a regular basis. He expects for us to pour our hearts out to Him. He expects for us to share with Him. He expects for us to reveal things to Him. You know, you share secrets with a friend. You share secrets with, you know, a boyfriend or girlfriend. God expects to know the secret things of our hearts. In return, God also shares His heart with us. He shares the secret things of His heart with us, because it's a back and forth. It's a loving relationship. These are things you can expect in relationship with God. So if your relationship with God is one-sided, it will look more like you going to Him when you need something, you going to Him when you want something, you just going to Him to ask for something, but never actually sitting down to have the back and forth conversation with Him, never actually listening for His voice. You say everything you have to say, but then you don't take the time to listen to what He wants to say in return. Regular back and forth conversation. Also, having the right perspective of God means that we understand His character. We understand who He is. We understand the kinds of things that He likes, the kind of things that He doesn't like, and what He expects from us, what He doesn't expect from us. We understand He is loving, but we also understand that He is just. We understand that He cares for us, but He also is not tolerant of sin. And while He loves us and He accepts us, He does not accept our sin, and He expects us to be actively working to purify our hearts, to purify our lives, to be renewed in the spirit of our minds, to have the mind of Christ. He expects us to be able to think like He thinks. I mean, we can't ever think exactly like God. Isaiah 55 and verse 9 tells us His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are higher than our ways. So we'll never be able to comprehend the full mind of God. We can't understand enough of His character to be able to think in alignment with Him. We understand God has a standard. He has rules. He has regulations. The spirit realm and the natural world are both regulated by a set of rules that God put in place. Getting to know God and having the correct perspective of God also means we understand that the standards and the rules that God has set in place are not to suck the fun out of our lives. It's not to make us feel like we're in prison and we can never do anything, we can never have fun. It's to help us to understand it's for protection. It's just like a child. A parent will usually have a rule that sounds something like, you know, don't play in the street. Why don't we want the child to play in the street? Because it's dangerous. We're not trying to keep the child from having fun. You know, you're free to play over here. You're free to play over there. Just don't play in the street. It's dangerous. You might get hit by a car. You know, God is the same way. He has rules and He has standards that are put in place for our protection. We have a real enemy, Satan, who desires to sift us as wheat. Who desires to steal from us, to kill and destroy everything in our lives. So God has a standard that He puts in place to keep us protected from the plans of the enemy, because just like God has a plan for us, the enemy also has a plan for us. When we have the right perspective of God, we understand that God loves us, God cares for us, He has a personality, He has feelings, He's relational, and He wants to be in relationship with you because He loves you.